because this really made my day to talk about these stories. You know, when you think about it, all these stories we have, we can't talk to anybody else about it. You know, our kids don't understand, our friends at home don't understand. The only ones that we can talk to is each other, and I really appreciate it, and thank you for coming.
Anyway, I called my dad that night and I said, Dad, what should I do? And I told him the situation. He said, get your butt down to Greensboro and play ball.
That's right, yeah.
So that's when I came into Greensboro, and the crazy thing about it was, they said, you were supposed to have been here yesterday. I said, how in the world was I supposed to have been here yesterday when they only told me last night?
Trish was signed by the Yanks as shortstop. He was our shortstop. But in the majors, he played left field.
Yeah.
What happened to him that did he crash the wall? Did somebody say he hit the wall and that one knee went out on him? He's a switch hitter, remember Tommy Trish?
Yeah.
Switch hitter,
Yeah.
good switch hitter.
He was rookie when I was down there in '62.
Yeah. I wonder whatever happened to him. They never stayed that long in the big leagues, you know?
Yeah, I never did know what happened to Billy Stafford, and I asked yeah, but I mean, when he let, you know, he was with the Yankees, he was going great guns, and all of a sudden you didn't hear of him.
He had the best slap.
And
he had
you know, Boughton said he hurt his arm, it didn't come back. But I mean, he won 22 games. I think he won 15 games at 22 years old in the big league.
Stafford died at a young age too.
Hard time.
You know, Tommy Tresh's dad was also a big leaguer. He was a
Yeah.
catcher. And he had told Tommy, he said, you got a lot of spare time in the minor leagues. He says, do something that'll keep you occupied. Maybe I told you this story before. He said, I learned how to play the guitar. Remember, he went with us at 15. And he would play in the back of the bus, and we would all sing, you know, it gave us something to do. You know, otherwise it is boring, you know, riding that bus all the time. Yeah, in our last game in Greensboro, in Grand Forks, it had rained. And in the Northern League, they'd come in with a gasoline truck and spread gasoline on the infield and light it, and would dry out the infield. Did you ever see that happen?
Yeah.
Man, the black smoke goes up. But Weldon waited outside the ballpark. He knew the truck was coming. And he told them they've changed their mind. The game was canceled. Truck went away.
I remember we went to Winston-Salem one day, and it looked like it rained.
I think he wanted to light up.
We were hoping it'd get rained out.
Yeah.
And we got there, and you know, they used to televise some of those games at Winston-Salem.
Did they really?
Yeah, and so they were out there, and we was hoping it rained. We kept looking, it hadn't rained. We all wanted to go somewhere, so Oath got the hose, and he was wetting the infield down.
Got here?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike was in that picture with Ronnie Renton at home plate.
Yeah, he was the one that was meeting Redden at home when he hit that home run.
Mike,
Yeah,
Mike's in.
Mike's in pictures.
Who was
That's
it?
61.
Who Weldon?
Mike Weldon.
I remember him.
Do you guys, anybody play against Bill Please? Little left-hander, called a cummy thumb left-hander with Minnesota. You didn't play with against him? He was pitching at Lafayette when I played in the Evangeline League. And in the Evangeline League, you played, in a doubleheader, you played 2 7-inning games. He beat us both games. I hate to say that, but the Yankee point, we won the pennant, but he beat us both games. Went 14 innings, you know?
It means that they didn't have any pitching count back in those days.
That's right, yeah, that's right, exactly right.
Yeah, I was telling you, remember Bill Lumber.
Humphrey played center field.
And so at the end of the season, this happened September 15th of 63, I'm pretty sure. And Brenda and I were coming home on I-20, which goes right through Birmingham, coming back home to Louisiana. And the traffic was backed up for miles as we were coming in from Birmingham. Helicopters were flying all over the place. And there was cop cars, ambulance. You couldn't, and at that time, that was before I-20. Okay, so you had no way around. You had to go through downtown Birmingham, and we didn't know what in the world was going on. Well, that bombing had happened just a few hours that they bombed that church, that black church, and killed those 3 girls.
Oh my gosh.
And it took us, we must have, it was 5 hours, I bet, before we could get through Birmingham.
Yeah, Ole Miss they had a documentary on the Ole Miss situation. That was unbelievable what happened. They had a great football team. Yeah. And the campus was just,
Right.
I mean, it was in bad shape.
You remember when we were at, I guess it was Augusta, it's when those Freedom Riders came down through Alabama, and they caught those 3 guys, Schwerner, Goodman, and somebody else, and they sent those helicopters looking for them, found them buried on that lake bed. Had killed them and buried them.
It was in the levee, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in the levee, and they came in and found them with those heat sensor things, and flying over it and found those fresh graves, and landed and dug it up and found those 3 bodies in there. Yeah, we were right in the middle of it.
Well, in '64, the Yankees moved the team from Augusta to Columbus, South Carolina. And that's when Roy White, we had Roy White and Jim Horsford were our 2 black guys. And Roy wasn't, I had a photo with him, and you couldn't tell the difference in my skin and his skin. And, but anyway, we found out that we'd go to this sleazy hotel, no air conditioning or nothing. Of course, back then we didn't have air conditioning either in our hotels, most of them. And we'd go down there and pick them up to take them to the ballpark. And it was blacks and it's whites. It was all separated.
Yeah.
You had a black neighborhood, and you had blacks lived over here, and all the whites lived over here. And so anyway, we'd go and do that, and then we'd go back to our hotel, drop them off, and we'd come to find out in '64, we found out that it was a motel that we were taking Roy to after the game that night was where it was 3 blocks from the church that was burned in September of '64.
You mentioned air conditioning. One of the theories that I've heard about athletes getting hurt more, tearing muscles and stuff, is that we didn't have air conditioning when we were playing.
Yeah.
So your muscles didn't tighten up in the cold air and stuff, and that caused more of the, right now, as far as injury is concerned.
One of the funniest stories, when Horsford and those guys, the black guys were playing for us, they couldn't stay with us, but they would have their mail sent to the hotels because they didn't know where they were staying.
Yeah.
So we went into Macon, and we're checking in this hotel, Macon, Georgia, and Horsford walked up there, and he's as black as this guy's shirt. And he walked up and said, "Did you get a mail for Jim Horsford?" The girl looked at him and said, "Well, you're black, aren't you?" And he said, "No, I'm not black."
He was sharp. He was a sharp
Oh,
guy.
I love that guy.
I did too. I really liked him. He was good.
He's a quick guy. I remember we were playing one night, and they had the squeeze play on. His pitching. He come off the mound so quick, fielded the ball and tagged the runner.
Wow.
He was an
He was a
athlete.
great
He
athlete.
was.
Yeah.
This guy, Jim, could hit. He could play the outfield. He
Yeah.
could play the infield. He pitched. I guess he did everything but catch.
Yeah.
And he could run like a deer.
Oh, he was fast. Yeah.
Yeah, he could do it all.
Yeah, they had a suicide squeeze on. He fielded it, tagged the guy.
I believe it.
We had Horsford and
Dela Cruz.
Dela Cruz.
Yeah.
Jim Horsford would not say a word. Dela Cruz, he was screaming umpires.
Yeah, you knew where Dela Cruz was. He was usually in the locker room going through your bag.
Horsford was a pretty good hitter. I mean, he could swing the
Yeah,
bat.
That's what I said. He could hit.
He could do anything.
Well, he played outfield for us. Well, here at Greensboro, he played outfield. He pinch hit.
He and Womack were two of the best hitting pitchers we had.
He pitched a good bit, and he did everything. He pinch run, you know. He did everything. And he did it well too. I mean, he just wasn't, you know, somebody they were trying to find a place for. He pitched good.
Horsford could ball hit the right side. He was always over first base. Some of the pitchers we had, you know, you had to scream and holler and kick them over there. I don't mention their names, but one of them's here right now.
He's talking about you.
You know,
Covering first base.
Get over there, Chuck.
How come?
You know, it's spring
What's
training.
going on over there?
Hey, it's spring training. That's all you pitchers did, wasn't it? Was cover first base.
I'm gonna stay on the pitcher, man.
And the catchers you got so many times. Get over there. That was it.
You remember in '63, Yankees lost the World Series because Jim Coates didn't cover first?
No, I don't remember that. 63.
Playing the Cardinals. Yankees were up 3 games to 2. Jim Coates was pitching. It's 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th. Maybe let him top the 9th. Anyway, they hit the ball down at the first baseline. The first baseman fielded it and looked up, and Jim Coates didn't cover first base. And the runner was safe. This guy hit a home run, beat the Yankees 3 to 2, and that made the series even. And the next day they played St. Louis, and St. Louis won the 4th game.
That was 64, wasn't it?
Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh.
It was 64.
Pittsburgh's when he didn't cover first.
No. You know, St. Louis, Kowalski hit the home run in '61.
Pittsburgh's when he didn't cover first base because they had a big lead.
I was
Because
thinking,
Jim and I play golf a lot now.
I was thinking it.
Yeah, he's 82 and he plays golf every day.
I was thinking it was.
But I kid him all the time, you know. Hits a bad shot, I'll say, you know, Jim, that's like not covering first base against the Pirates.
That's like not covered first base and losing the World Series.
Don't Carp in that age. Is he that old? Who you talking about?
Jim
82.
Coates.
Coates is 82. He was about 6'4" and didn't weigh about 170 pounds.
He had a good fastball. He loved to knock you down too.
Yeah.
He really protected the player.
One of the nicest things happened to me in '64 when the Yankees came in to play the Cardinals. I went to one of those ball games, just like we're talking here. I went down to the dugout. There was Pepitone, Lentz, Tresh, Boughton, and Al Renner were all in that ball club. They treated me like we're doing right now. Like old home. I hadn't seen him in 3 or 4 years, you know, and it was like old home week talking to him, you know. And Tresh says, "Hey, do you have a son?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Here." He gives me his bat. He said, "One little chip off the handle." He said, "Take this to your son," you know. Tresh gave me. I still have that bat.
Old Trash was a good guy.
Yeah.
Phil man. Even though he didn't play.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Bill was a competitive boy.
Yeah.
That fight between him and Jack Hamilton, I told you yesterday, didn't I? That story. And that second base, man, he was quick with his fist, man. He nailed Hamilton about 3 punches, you know.
All
You
those
heard
guys,
his- you heard his story, didn't you?
all those guys played for Amarillo. Sheriff Robinson was in there.
Yeah, Sheriff Robinson, yeah.
Lentz, Pepitone, Boughton, all the crew. I mean, they have stories. They have stories galore about you know, like breaking the elevator, you know, so players couldn't get down to go to the ballpark. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
They had a tin storage shed behind the right field fence.
Oh yeah, Bartow?
It's in spring training.
Bartow?
It might have been. That might have been later. And Pepitone hit a line drive went through the roof of that tin storage building. The ball did. That's how hard he hit. He had. It reminded me of Hank Aaron with the wrist.
Right.
We didn't have big old boys like that back in our day.
How about Rich Berry? He could hit that ball a long way.
Yeah, he could. He just about 6'3", but he didn't weigh that much, you know.
No.
He had big arms.
Yeah, he did.
one thing we can all say, Rich enjoyed life.
I remember we were playing remember that ballpark you had at Savannah? It was a combination of football and baseball field, and left field were the concrete bleachers for the football. And on top of top of the bleachers, there was a line of signs, about the size of the regular wall, and the trees behind it. Barry hit one over the top of the trees, and as usual, every ballpark guy said, "Attention, ladies and gentlemen, that's the first ball that's ever been hit out of that area in this ballpark." Wow! I mean, it looked like it came out of a zoo.
He was loose the goose, wasn't he? Rich Berry was.
He had a good arm.
Yeah.
He was 6'4", 6'5", wasn't he?
Yeah. I always thought that Freddie Carpenter had all the tools to go all the way. You play with Freddie Carpenter, either one, any guys? Freddie Carpenter? You played with him? Didn't know him?
I didn't either.
Well, I thought he
I
never.
mean, I knew him,
Yeah.
I knew who he was. Frank Grant.
Those guys make a lot more money than we did, but they don't have near as much fun as we did.
Yeah, we got. It's easier for us to get our money's worth than most
Right,
people.
yeah. We didn't have any money. We had to entertain
No, we didn't
ourselves.
have any. Any fun we had was us.
One of the hardest.
Number of people on disabled list. I mean, it's just not pitchers.
Right.
It's everyone.
One of the hardest things for me in professional baseball was getting used to. I was raised, my dad grew up on a farm, We were used to get up early in the morning, And here we go, play all night games, you sleep late. I could never sleep late. I always had to get up early for years. And everybody else was in 10 o'clock, sleep till 10. I was up at 7, I could not break that habit.
Did you guys have curfews? Did they impose curfews on you guys?
No. It depended on the manager.
Okay.
Depend on the last 10 games.
Yeah, that's mostly what it was.
Holstein was.
As long as you were winning, they didn't care.
Vern Holstein was famous for when you lost in several in a row. You got home on a road trip, he'd turn the lights on at 1 o'clock in the morning. You'd take batting practice. Remember that? Any of you guys do that? Yeah. You were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
Silvestri worked with our pitchers up in Fargo, and we would have at 11 o'clock. If you weren't pitching that day, he wanted you out there. That's when he ran the pitchers. In the heat of the day, he said, you're going to get the best physical benefit from running about 11 o'clock. And we'd have batting practice, and then he would pitch to the pitchers for batting practice too that morning. So they liked coming out. They ran their good wind sprints, Silvestri was sharp, I'll tell you, that guy.
People say, I can't believe pitchers can't hit. And I said, well, if you remember you only get 4 swings a week, that's one reason. That's one reason pitchers can't hit. They never get taken back practice.
Well,
All of them think they can hit. All the pitchers. I've never met a pitcher who didn't think he could hit.
Pitchers would take back practice.
They all want to hit.
Oh yeah.
Sacrifice. You had all the pitchers. Well, you remember that pitching staff at, I guess that was one of the last ones, that Smokes and Glavin and Avery and
A pitcher.
and Matt.
Ralph Scorpion. He had as good a movement on his fastball as any pitcher.
Did he?
Oh man, he could throw that ball and just come right in on it. Where did he play after he left Greensboro?
He went to,
You ever play in Augusta?
He played at Augusta.
Did he do okay there?
And let's see, I played with him. I played with him in '59, 60, 61, 62. I played with him 4 years. After that, well, see, when I got traded to the Cardinals after the '64 season, I lost touch with everybody, so I didn't know what happened to guys like him after I